Let us get into it. The sheer size of it stops you in your tracks. Gleaming staircases, towering atriums, the smell of fresh food drifting through the air, and a smiling crew member handing you a welcome drink like you are royalty. Everything feels perfect, polished, and almost too good to be true. And here is the thing. Some of it is. Behind every perfectly pressed uniform, behind every choreographed smile, and behind every glittering deck, there is an entire world the cruise industry has absolutely no interest in showing you. Secrets that could save you hundreds of dollars, transform your experience, and completely change how you cruise forever. Okay, so listen. We literally just found out something insane that cruise lines do not want you to know, and I cannot believe more people aren't talking about this. Before you even touch your luggage, before you even find your room, the game is already being played against you. Hidden all over these massive ships are cabins sitting right next to engine rooms, giant industrial kitchens, and clubs that blast music until 3 in the morning. We are talking non-stop vibrations, clanging metal, and bass so loud it rattles your teeth while you are trying to sleep. And the crazy part? People who just grab the cheapest cabin without checking the deck map are basically handing their entire vacation over to chance. I had my team look into this, and the results were actually shocking. These passengers spend the whole trip completely exhausted, blaming the ocean, never once realizing their cabin location was destroying their sleep the entire time. But here is the thing, and this is the part that blew my mind. All you have to do is look at one detailed deck map before you book, and you completely avoid this nightmare. One simple step and you save your entire vacation. So why isn't anyone telling people this? But savvy budget travelers who discover this secret end up spending less while actually sleeping better than passengers paying premium prices just outside. While cruise lines push balcony cabins in every brochure and advertisement, there is a cabin category they almost never highlight: inside cabins. These rooms have 0 windows, no natural light, and no ocean view. Sounds terrible, right? Actually, the opposite is true for those who know better. Crew members, the very people who live and breathe cruise ships every single day, frequently request inside cabins for themselves when given the choice. Why? Because these rooms are significantly quieter, completely dark for sleeping, and dramatically cheaper than any other category. We are talking sometimes half the price of a balcony room. The darkness alone means deeper, more restful sleep, something incredibly valuable on a long voyage. Cruise lines rarely promote inside cabins because balcony rooms generate far greater profit margins. Now let's talk about something that will completely change how you look at the dining options on your next cruise. Here is a secret the cruise industry quietly profits from every single sailing. That specialty Italian restaurant you paid an extra $30 per person to enjoy? There is a very good chance the pasta, the sauces, and even the proteins came from the exact same kitchen preparing the main dining room menu that night. Crew members who work across multiple venues see this happen regularly. The main buffet and the formal dining rooms frequently serve identical food, just plated differently to create the illusion of exclusivity. A beautifully garnished dish in a dimly lit specialty restaurant feels premium, but the base ingredients often tell a different story. Experienced crew members know exactly which specialty restaurants offer a genuinely distinct culinary experience and which ones are simply repackaging the same menu with a higher price tag attached. Being first to the buffet is not just about avoiding lines. It is about getting an entirely superior meal. The buffet has a perfect window, and almost no passenger knows about it. The moment those buffet doors open, everything changes. The food is freshly prepared, the trays are fully stocked, and the crowds have not yet descended. Crew members heading off shift will often grab their meals right at opening time for exactly this reason. But wait too long, and the experience becomes something entirely different. By mid-morning or mid-afternoon, those same dishes have been sitting under heat lamps for hours. The food gets reheated, textures suffer, and selections thin out considerably. Staff will never walk up to a guest and say the food was better 2 hours ago, but they absolutely know it. The package looks generous on the surface, but the carefully hidden exclusions ensure the cruise line profits every single time, regardless of how thirsty you are. The moment you board, you're greeted with flashy promotions promising unlimited beverages for one flat daily rate. It sounds like an absolute steal. But here's what cruise lines never tell you. These packages are mathematically engineered so that the average passenger almost never breaks even. Cruise lines calculate exactly how many drinks a typical guest consumes per day, and they price packages just above that threshold. So unless you're drinking 8 to 10 beverages daily, you're likely losing money. But the math gets sneakier. Crew members know that premium cocktails, certain wines, and specialty beverages are quietly excluded from the fine print, meaning you'll still pay extra for the drinks you actually want most. Hidden within those event listings are opportunities for complimentary beverages that most passengers completely overlook every single day of their voyage. Most passengers spend hundreds of dollars on beverages throughout their voyage without ever realizing that certain drinks are completely free, just never advertised. Here is what the cruise line will not tell you. Specialty coffees are often complimentary during specific morning hours at certain onboard venues. Fresh juices flow freely at breakfast in the main dining room, not just the basic options but sometimes premium varieties. And during promotional events, cocktail hours, and onboarding celebrations, drinks are handed out at no charge whatsoever. Crew members quietly observe savvy passengers discovering these windows and taking full advantage, while other guests swipe their cards repeatedly at the bar, racking up charges that were entirely avoidable. The trick is simply paying attention to the daily schedule newsletter slipped under your cabin door each evening. Now here is where things get really interesting, and honestly, a little frustrating once you know the truth. Those shore excursions the cruise line sells you at the activities desk? They are marked up anywhere from 30 to 50% compared to booking the exact same tour directly with a local operator at the port. We are talking about identical experiences, sometimes literally the same bus, the same guide, the same destination, just with a cruise line logo slapped on the booking confirmation and a significantly higher price tag attached to it. Crew members who get days off in port almost never book through the ship. They walk off, find a local tour operator, negotiate directly, and pocket the savings. The difference can easily be $50 to $100 per person. But here is the thing. Crew members are specifically trained never to suggest this to passengers. It is an unspoken rule that protects onboard revenue at your expense. Smart passengers follow the exact same rules. If you book a shore excursion through the cruise line and something goes wrong, the ship will wait for you or arrange transportation to the next port. The cruise line takes full responsibility. However, if you book independently and show up late to the dock, the ship leaves without a single hesitation. No exceptions, no sympathy. Crew members have watched passengers standing on the pier, bags in hand, as the ship slowly pulls away. So how do crew members protect themselves when they go ashore independently? They always research the port layout in advance, set multiple alarms, and return to the ship at least 90 minutes before departure. They never rely on a single form of transport and always have a backup route planned. Now that you know how to navigate the ports like a crew member, let us pull back the curtain on the ship itself. Because what most passengers never realize is that the vessel they are exploring is actually two completely different worlds sharing the same hull. Most large cruise ships have entire crew-only areas that passengers never set foot in. We are talking dedicated crew bars where staff unwind after long shifts, recreational rooms, gyms, and yes, even crew pools. These spaces exist entirely separate from anything in your passenger brochure. Below deck, crew members live in a world that operates on completely different rules, rhythms, and routines. Narrow corridors, shared cabins, staff cafeterias, and a buzzing community of thousands of people working around the clock to make your vacation feel effortless. The smiling face handing you a towel by the pool might have just come from a crew karaoke night 2 decks below. It is a hidden civilization sailing right beneath your feet. The cruise line will never say this directly, but your safety literally depends on those ignored instructions. When you board, the welcome presentation is polished, cheerful, and carefully designed to keep you relaxed and excited. Safety information gets sandwiched between cocktail hour announcements and dinner reservations. But here is what crew members will tell you privately. The muster drill is not just a bureaucratic formality. It is potentially the most important 15 minutes of your entire voyage. Most passengers treat it like an inconvenience, scrolling through their phones, half listening, waiting for it to end. That is a serious mistake. Crew members have seen real emergency simulations and actual onboard incidents. These simple solutions outperform anything the ship sells every single time. Seasickness does not discriminate. Even veteran crew members with years of sea experience get hit hard during rough weather. The difference is they are trained to manage it quietly and professionally, keeping that polished smile firmly in place no matter how their stomach feels. So what do they actually use? Forget the overpriced seasickness patches and branded wristbands sitting in the gift shop at marked-up prices. Experienced crew members swear by a few simple remedies. Ginger candies and ginger tea are crew favorites, genuinely effective and incredibly cheap. Keeping your eyes fixed on the horizon resets your inner ear almost immediately. Experienced crew members will tell you privately that washing your hands thoroughly and consistently, not just using sanitizer, is genuinely your strongest defense against getting sick mid-voyage. Those hand sanitizer stations positioned at every entrance and the crew members you see constantly wiping down surfaces? That is just the visible layer of a much deeper operation. Crew members know the uncomfortable truth. A cruise ship is essentially a floating city where thousands of people share the same air, surfaces, and food stations. Illness can spread with alarming speed. What passengers never see are the behind-the-scenes protocols that activate the moment an outbreak begins. Affected areas get quietly sectioned off, specific crew teams in full protective gear handle deep sanitation, and announcements are carefully worded to avoid triggering panic. Passengers are rarely told the full picture directly. Now that you know how to stay healthy on board, let's talk about something that affects every single passenger, your wallet. Almost everything you encounter on a cruise ship is carefully engineered to pull money from your pocket, and most passengers never even realize it's happening. The art auctions held in elegant ballrooms are not cultural experiences. They are high-pressure sales events designed to feel exclusive. The casino floor is strategically placed, so you walk through it constantly. The spa menu is priced to make you feel like you are treating yourself, while the ship treats itself to enormous profit margins. Crew members are trained in subtle upselling techniques from day one, knowing exactly how to guide passengers toward premium options without ever sounding pushy. But here is what those same crew members privately know. Certain onboard experiences genuinely deliver value, while others are pure profit traps dressed up beautifully. Knowing the difference before you spend a single dollar changes everything about your cruise experience. Your wallet will absolutely thank you. The spa and salon on board are not cheap. Massages, facials, and hair treatments can cost eye-watering amounts, and most passengers simply accept those prices as fixed. But here is what the spa staff will never tell you at the front desk. On port days, when the majority of passengers flood off the ship for shore excursions, the spa sits nearly empty. And when the spa sits empty, prices drop significantly to attract whoever remains on board. We are talking about the exact same treatments, the same therapists, the same facilities, at a fraction of the usual cost. Crew members and savvy repeat cruisers have known this trick for years. That single question, asked calmly and kindly, has moved passengers from interior cabins straight to balconies more times than you would ever imagine. Free cabin upgrades are real, and they happen far more often than the industry wants you to know. But they do not go to just anyone. They go to passengers who understand the game. Crew members have watched this play out on countless voyages. The passengers who score upgrades are not the loudest or the most demanding. They are the ones who ask politely at the right moment, in the right way, to the right person. The best time to ask is at check-in, when the ship is not fully booked and staff have flexibility. Calling reservations 48 hours before departure is another golden window. Speak directly to a supervisor, not a general agent. Your loyalty status is genuinely valuable, but only if you actually use it. Loyalty programs are packed with hidden benefits that repeat passengers almost never claim, not because they do not qualify, but simply because nobody tells them these perks exist. Crew members see this happen constantly. A passenger who has sailed 15 or 20 times walks right past the priority boarding lane, skips the complimentary specialty dining credit, and misses the exclusive cocktail party reserved specifically for elite loyalty members, all because these benefits were buried in fine print or never communicated at check-in. Here is what you need to do. Building on those loyalty perks, let's talk about something even more exciting. The secret spaces hiding in plain sight on the ship itself. Most large cruise ships have quiet decks, tucked away observation areas, and cozy lounges that are technically open to every single passenger on board. Here is the thing, though. These spots never appear on the promotional map they hand you at check-in, and you will never spot them mentioned in the daily newsletter slipped under your cabin door. Cruise lines simply do not advertise them because they want passenger traffic flowing toward revenue-generating areas. Crew members, however, know exactly where these hidden retreats are. On their breaks, they escape to these peaceful corners to decompress away from the crowds. Think forward observation decks on upper levels, quiet reading lounges near the ship's bow, and small terraces tucked behind staircases. Next time you board, explore beyond the obvious and you might just find your own private paradise. Crew members quietly root for the curious ones every single time. The cruise experience is almost entirely what you make of it. After everything revealed in this video, that truth might sound simple, but crew members see it play out every single voyage without exception. There are two types of passengers on every ship. The first type goes with the flow, explores beyond the obvious, asks questions, and stays curious. The second type follows only what is marketed to them, sticks to the brochure, and never digs deeper. The difference in experience between these two groups is enormous. One group discovers hidden lounges, saves hundreds on excursions, eats the freshest food, and leaves feeling like they unlocked something special. The other group spends more, sees less, and wonders why the trip felt average. Now drop your own cruise secrets in the comments below and subscribe for more travel insider content you will not find anywhere else. From choosing the right cabin away from noisy engines and nightclubs to timing your buffet visits for the freshest food. From skipping overpriced ship excursions and booking local tours directly to snagging spa treatments on port days for a fraction of the cost. From understanding the real math behind drink packages to knowing exactly when and how to ask for a free upgrade. From claiming loyalty perks nobody tells you about, to finding those hidden quiet decks the crew escapes to on breaks.